The name they gave you is Twilight. It's a fitting moniker because you exist only in the fleeting moments between light and darkness, truth and deception. You have 100 faces, but none of them your own. You wear them like coats, discarding them the moment they're no longer useful. You are a ghost in a well-tailored suit. In under 10 seconds, you can memorize the blueprints to a bank vault, the patrol routes of an entire enemy platoon, or the life story of the man you're about to become. You speak a dozen languages fluently enough to dream in them. You can neutralize a room of armed men with nothing but a dinner fork and a well-placed lie. You are a flawless, hyper-efficient machine, a scalpel designed to excise the cancers of conspiracy and war before they can fester. Your entire existence is built on a single, unwavering doctrine. Emotions are a liability. Attachments are anchors that drown you in a sea of exploitable weakness. To become the perfect spy, you have surgically removed every piece of your past, every genuine connection, every trace of the person you once were. You feel nothing. You need no one. Your only purpose is the mission, and for years you have been perfect at it. You're standing in a sterile, windowless room that smells of ozone and stale coffee. Your handler, a woman with tired eyes and a voice like gravel, slides a single folder across a steel table. Donovan Desmond, she says, tapping the photograph of a man with a gaze as cold and empty as deep space. Leader of the National Unity Party. He's planning a war that will burn the continent to the ground. He's a ghost, completely unreachable. You absorb the data, your mind already building a web of potential strategies. Blackmail, infiltration, assassination, the usual tools of your trade. But, your handler continues, and that one word hangs in the air, heavy with implication. He has a weakness, an obsession. His son, a student at the ridiculously prestigious Eden Academy. It's the only place that he ever shows his face. She looks at you, the world's most efficient lone wolf operator, the man who has toppled governments single-handedly. Your mission, codename Operation Strix, is to get close to Desmond, and to do that, you must create the perfect, unimpeachable cover. You will enroll a child at Eden Academy and seamlessly integrate into the school's elite social circle. She lets that sink in before she delivers the final soul-crushing blow. You will get married, and you will have a child. You have 1 week. For the first time in your operational history, your mind doesn't just calculate, it freezes. The variables are illogical, unquantifiable. You face down assassins and disarmed nuclear devices, but this is a different kind of terror. Your brain reboots, shifting from espionage to crisis management. Asset procurement, 1 child of verifiable academic potential. Asset procurement, 1, that's 1 wife, who must be convincing, stable, and willing to enter a legally binding sham marriage on 0 notice. The logistical hurdles alone are a nightmare. This is, without a doubt, the most insane mission of your career, and if you want to see how this impossible operation unfolds, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell. That way you won't miss the next intel drop. Now, where were we? Yes, asset procurement. Your first stop is an orphanage on the grimy side of Berlin. The air hangs thick with the smell of industrial disinfectant and quiet desperation. You're not here to save a child, you're here to acquire a tool. Your criteria are simple. A child bright enough to pass the Eden Academy entrance exam. You find her in a corner. A small girl with pink hair and enormous green eyes. Her name is Anya. She solves the crossword puzzle in the newspaper you're holding, without looking at it. Your brain flags her as an anomaly, but the mission clock is a ticking bomb. You need a child. This one will have to do. You sign the papers, and just like that, you are a father. Your safe house, once a monument to sterile efficiency and order, is compromised within the hour. A loud cartoon about spies blares from the television. There are peanut shells on your pristine floor. The silence you've cultivated for years is shattered by a constant stream of questions and inexplicable humming. Every instinct you have screams that this small, unpredictable creature is the greatest threat to your operational security that you've ever faced. But the mission requires a mother. The deadline looms. Your search leads you to a city hall clerk named Yor Breyer. On paper, she's perfect, unassumingly single, and, according to a hastily planted listening device, under immense social pressure to find a partner. She's a wallflower, desperate to appear normal. You approach her under the guise of a widowed psychiatrist, and she agrees to your proposal of a fake relationship with startling ease. The arrangement is tested almost immediately. During a date at a fancy party, you're targeted by a group of smugglers from a previous mission. It's a minor annoyance you're prepared to handle with surgical precision. But before you can act, you're Des. She moves like a whisper. A stiletto heel finds a man's temple with a sickening crack. A tray of hors d'oeuvres becomes a discus that shatters another's jaw. It's a blur of ballet-like brutal violence, executed with a serene, almost apologetic smile on her face. She dusts off her dress and apologizes for being a little clumsy. You stand there, the world's greatest spy, completely floored. Your analytical mind scrambles for a logical explanation. An advanced self-defense class, a freak adrenaline response. You make a mental note. Subject, your briar displays unexpected reflexes. It is the understatement of the century. You now have your family, a daughter who seems to read your mind, and a wife who could kill you with a canopy. The simple, elegant plan for Operation Strix has just become a waking nightmare of sheer, unquantifiable chaos. The mission now enters its most critical phase. Infiltrating Eden Academy, forging the documents is child's play. You create a family history so detailed and believable it could withstand a state-level security audit. That's the easy part. The hard part is the human element. After 3 days of intensive coaching, you run a new probability analysis. The conclusion is questionable. Your family's chance of successfully passing for normal is now statistically lower than the survival rate of a solo infiltration into Austinia's military headquarters. You'd had better odds on missions where you were officially declared dead. The day of the interview arrives. You walk through the imposing gates of Eden Academy, your senses on high alert, scanning for threats. You identify 12 potential snipers' nests, 4 security blind spots, and 1 housemaster whose tie is unforgivably crooked. The question begins. They are a form of psychological warfare you are completely unprepared for. When asked, what made you fall in love with your wife, your mind instantly accesses subject yours file, unassuming, stable, no known affiliations. You find the love subsection of the file to be conspicuously empty. You are forced to improvise, fabricating a story so saccharine it violates several articles of the Geneva Convention. Then, the mosquito. It buzzes near Housemaster Henderson's head. You and your move as one. The insect is neutralized, with a combined velocity that briefly creates a microscopic sonic boom. You both reset to a neutral, smiling posture in under 0.8 seconds. Henderson calls it elegant. You mentally classify it as excessive force, and make a note to reprimand your later for potentially revealing her combat capabilities over a common diptera. Somehow you pass, but as you're leaving, Anya, left unsupervised for 30 seconds, lands a perfect right hook on the jaw of your primary target's son. Your mind doesn't just panic, it runs a full threat assessment. Primary infiltrator, vector, hostile. Mission viability, compromised. Probability of success dropped by 47%. The internal siren is deafening. Mission failure, abort. But you can't abort. You are Lloyd Forger. You force a painted smile that feels like you're tearing your face muscles, apologize with the feigned sincerity of a double agent, and extract your family before Anya can escalate to international espionage. Your success is no longer measured in extracted intel or neutralized threats. The operational parameters have shifted to a new, terrifying set of metrics: Stella stars and Tonitrus bolts. The fate of the world peace is now subject to the academic performance of a 6-year-old who you suspect is functionally illiterate. The two worlds bleed into each other, creating cascading errors in your own core programming. You're on a rooftop running surveillance on an arms dealer. Classic operation. But your focus is compromised. You're not analyzing escape routes. You're mentally drafting a grocery list. You have calculated that a household deficit of peanuts increases Anya's probability of causing a public incident by over 60%. The risk is unacceptable. The distraction is unprofessional. The fact that you almost missed the briefcase exchange because you're debating the merits of crunchy versus smooth peanut butter is a fireable offense. In your line of work, the punishment for a fireable offense is a small, unmarked grave. Later, you're at a dead drop. Your contact whispers the code phrase, "The hawk flies at midnight." The correct response is, "But the squirrel hides its nuts in the fall." Your mind, however, serves you an intrusive pop-up notification. Yours cooking. You hesitate for 1.2 seconds before delivering the correct line. Your contact doesn't give you a strange look. He gives you no look at all. He makes the exchange and leaves. That's worse. A strange look is amateur. No look means he's a professional who has just logged your hesitation. He will report that Twilight, the flawless agent, is compromised. You are no longer an asset, rather a flag being marked for potential termination. The mission's budget is a disaster. Your handler's memos are no longer passive-aggressive. They are openly hostile. The line item, Castle Rental Miscellaneous Entertainment, is circled in red ink. So aggressive, it has torn the paper. You attempt to justify it in your report. Operation Moral Boost was executed to ensure asset compliance. Success rate, nominal. Cost-benefit analysis, debatable. It's the weakest report you've ever filed. The subject, Anya, was acquired to be a tool, an asset, a key. But the data is flawed. Tools do not require a 45-minute bedtime story, a process you have determined to be 98% inefficient. Keys do not get scraped knees that trigger an involuntary spike in your cortisol levels, a biological response you have failed to suppress on 3 separate occasions. She was a variable you were meant to control. Instead, she is a chaos agent actively rewriting your operational protocols from the inside out. The day ends, the chaos subsides. You're on the couch as a terrible spy cartoon plays to an empty room. Anya is asleep against your side, and her sketchbook slips to the floor. You pick it up, flipping past a crayon portrait of a potato with legs that you assume is you. Then you stop. Your blood runs cold. It's a drawing of you by the window. In the corner is a perfect schematic of a top-secret Westalian listening device. An image she could have only plucked directly from your mind. The data connects in a horrifying cascade. The anomaly, the solved puzzles, the uncanny perception. It wasn't intuition, it was interception. You close the sketchbook and look at the sleeping child. Your first thought is not about the mission, world peace, or the catastrophic security breach she represents. It's a simple tactical question. How do you teach a telepath to lie? You exhale, slow and silent, and file the answer under a new directive that didn't exist this morning. Mission addendum, maintain cover, preserve peace. Method revision, train the anomaly gently to separate thought from truth. Train yourself to separate protocol from parenting. You lift Anya, deposit her beneath a fortress of blankets, and smooth the hair from her eyes. The room returns to its natural state, quiet, dim, surveilled. In the wall, the Westalian device hums like a secret you can no longer pretend is yours alone. Perfection was your doctrine. Tonight it becomes practicality. World peace will not be won with cleaner lies. It'll be kept with kinder ones. Tomorrow Eden begins. Stella stars and Tanitras bolts become missions metrics. Yor will need to stay invisible in a room designed to notice everything. And you, Twilight, Lloyd, Father, will attempt your most dangerous operation yet. Telling the truth just enough to keep the biggest lie alive. Lights off, safety's on, new plan saved. If you want the debrief on Week 1 at Eden, whether Yor's clumsiness stays buried, and the first steps of training a telepath to lie, subscribe and wait for the next intel drop.